Alright, this is for all you carburetor haters. It says Wednesday. This bike hasn't been started up since Friday. It's not hot. I'm touching everything on the bike, header tubes. Okay? I'm gonna start this bike up with no choke. This is a carbureted bike with like at least a 4-year-old battery. No choke. That's for all you carburetor haters. I'm gonna do some more too. I can't wait for it to start getting cold outside, because I'll have it parked in my garage, not heated, and I'll show you some really cold starts, since all you guys want to hate on carbureted bikes. Alright, this is Woody coming back with another mother loving moto vlog. Today I want to talk about all those that love to hate Harley Davidson. I know I've talked a great deal about Harleys here lately, but I'm watching more moto vloggers that are Harley guys and stuff like that. I'm seeing a lot more Harley ride reviews. I've done 2 of my own, and it doesn't matter what the bike is or anything, there's always some hate on the bike. Somebody's hating on the bike. As you all know, Harley's got a whole line of new bikes from last year, 2008, or this year, yeah, 2018, all new Softails, and they killed the Dyna. Most people still whining about that. I say, who gives a shit? It's called Progress. Everybody bitched about Dynas and Harleys all together about how they rode rough and all this other crap, and they had crap suspension. Well, they got rid of the Dyna, now all they got are Softails. They upgraded the suspension on Softails, so they ride better. They lighten the frame so they're lighter. They upgraded the motor so they run more efficiently and make better power. They have upgraded the electronics. They have upgraded the looks, and they've upgraded their lean capabilities. Like all this stuff that they've upgraded this year, and then for 2019 even more. More awesome paint schemes, another new bike, high performance Softail in the FXDR, even more lean angle, even a little bit more power, even a little lighter, and more capable, more electronics, and still it's not good enough. People hate that bike. People hate the new Softails. There's still this misinformation about the reliability of Harleys, and it's crazy. It's no matter what Harley does, they can't win with people. It's either they should have never changed it, and the ones they never changed wasn't good enough. The old bikes, all they did was bitched about the reliability and the way they performed and everything, and now these ones perform better, and people were bitching they should have never changed it to begin with. Like, it's like they cannot win no matter what they do. But Harley is getting better every year. They're listening to the consumer, they're listening to the complainers, and they're doing what that people are asking them to do, and then they get bitched at anyway. No matter what they do, they get bad hate on them, mad hate all the time. Let's see. People are begging for an update on the Sportster, but like, if they upgraded the Sportster, would people still probably wouldn't buy them because of how small they are. It's a certain niche of people that want a Sportster, somebody that doesn't care about having the fastest bike, and wants something that they could really make their own, and that's cheap. And that's what a Sportster is, but people bitch about everything about a Sportster. It's not big enough, it's not fast enough, it's not, they don't have enough gears. Like, my bike's a 6-speed. Now I'm on 5th. What changed? I'm doing 60 mile an hour, I'm tacking about 5.5. Now I'm tacking 5, a little under 5. What difference does it make if you have a 6th gear? It's not too often that you need it. And a bike like that is not a touring bike. So it's not meant to be out on the highway to need that highway gear. 6th gear is basically a highway gear. That's it. That's all you need it for. You don't need it for, I put it up in 6th gear now just to have it at as low RPMs as I can. And it's there, so I use it. I don't need to, but I do. But a Sportster is not, it's an around town bike. It's meant for short riding. You could do long distance riding on it. I've seen people do it, but then also it doesn't have that power where it needs that next gear. But better not, if people, this is what the problem is with doing all these things that people want to do, want Harley to do to the Sportster. They make it a bigger engine. Maybe they keep the 1200 and then they get like a, I don't know. But how much bigger can you go engine wise with the Sportster engine before you're a Softail? See what I'm saying? Like, you can't have all the greatest things that you want in a budget package. It just doesn't happen. Especially like, it's just not meant, that's not what that bike's meant to be in the first place. And then or how about the people that bitch that the lean, bitch about the lean angle on a Harley? It's a cruiser. Now, the old Harleys, they were bad, and even the late model Harleys, they were bad, or a little bit better, but they still weren't the best. But these bikes aren't made for carving up canyons and going on track days. They're a cruiser bike. They're for riding out in the countryside and out on the highway and a little bit around town. You shouldn't, there's no reason that you should be leaning the bike over like you would this bike. Now, these new 18 models and the 19 models are better than the old ones. Every one of them is better than the old one in every single way possible. The motor's better, the suspension's better, the lean angle's better, the weight's better, the power delivery's better. It's all better. Like, people still compare it to bike Harleys from 30 years ago. Like, I believed the same misconception that Harleys were unreliable and they leaked oil like crazy. And that, in fact, is not true no more. You can relate that back to the MF days. You cannot apply that to these bikes of today. You just cannot. They are not the bikes that they used to be. They're not the bikes they were 30 years ago. They're not the bikes they were 10 years ago. They've changed so much in the last couple years, and just the last 2 years. Like, the change between the bikes from 2 or 3, she's like spraying washer fluid on me. I hope that didn't get on the bikes from 3 years ago are not the bikes of today. They're not the same at all. Like, it just seems like no matter what Harley does, I needed her to spray that because that's cleaning up my visor. My visor is pretty dirty. But anyways, it just seems like no matter what Harley does to make their product better, people complain. One other thing about the Sportster. You want all this new stuff on the Sportster, you basically want to turn it into a Dyna is what people would end up doing. You'd put a bigger motor on it, you put more suspension on it, maybe you make it a little longer so it isn't so small. You want that extra gear. Now it's not even a Sportster no more. Now it's a Dyna. You know what I mean? Like, it's a Softail, something like that. And when you upgrade all that stuff, what else do you have to do? Once you add all that stuff to make that bike that much better, what do you got to do to that bike? What's going to happen? The price is going to go up. Now all of a sudden it's not a starter bike like it's supposed to be. It's not a round town bike. It's not a budget bike like it's supposed to be. It's not meant to be all those things that people want to turn it into. It's just not. People want to make it something that it's not, and then they get mad because it's not what they want it to be. It's what it is what it is. It's an entry-level bike. It's a round town bike. It's a like 0 to 60 bike. That's it. It's not anything more than that. I don't know. It cracks me up though. Like, it just seems like no matter what they do, they can't win for losing. I mean, it's like no matter what they do, it's not going to be good enough for the masses. The other thing about people will say about Harleys is they do bigger. I used to say it too. Their recalls are always bigger than everybody else's recalls, but they're also building a lot more bikes than anybody else is. And if I'm not mistaken, they still, even though their sales are down, they still sell more units than anybody else. They produce a lot larger quantity of bikes than any other motorcycle manufacturer too, I'm pretty sure. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that they do. So of course a recall is going to be bigger because they produce more. See what I'm saying? Like, you gotta kind of factor that in. And it's not like any other motorcycle manufacturer is immune to recalls and stuff, because we all know that Yamaha, when they just came out with this new R1, like, they had a massive recall because of the transmission or something. I don't even know what it was, but it was a massive recall on those things, like replacing whole motors, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. That's a pretty sharp truck, that black one. People hold the Harley to a different standard of other motorcycle manufacturers. Another thing that gets me is people comparing Indian to Harley. I'm telling you what, every big motovlogger I've ever seen that does reviews on Harleys, there's always somebody in the comment section asking if they would be willing to do a ride review on an Indian to compare them. And people are always talking about I never buy a Harley Indian, blah blah blah, Indians are better, blah blah. I just venture, I just have the, I can't get with that comment. How? I don't understand where people see that Indian is much better than Harley, because people will bitch about this and that about Harley and then the cost, and then they'll say, oh, you should get an Indian instead. Well, last time I checked, Indians aren't cheap either. And I was looking at Indians now, and I don't want people to think that I'm hating on Indian, because I do like the Scout. The rest of the Indians, I'm not a fan of. The Dark Horse is kind of cool, but other than that, that's it for me. The rest of them are huge. They look massive. They look massive, and they're super expensive. Harley Davidson has the street line, the whole street line, and all but I think 2 or 3 of their Sportsters are all under 10,000. They have the Street Bomb, the Lowrider, and the Slim, the Breakout, the small Breakout, the Fat Bob. Like 6 bikes under 20. 6 bikes under between the 10 and 20 mark, and then they have that whole plus that whole line of Sportsters and streets that are under 10 grand. You cannot say that about Indian. Indian has the Scout under 10 grand, or under 15 really. They start out at, I think 8 is the cheapest Scout, and then they go up to like 12 or 13, something like that. And then they have one other bike, I think that's under 20 grand. So they have the Scout 60, they have the regular Scout, they have the Scout Bobber, and then I think the Dark Horse might be 18, almost 19,000. That's it. 3 bikes. The rest are all over $20,000 the last time I checked. So don't come at me with this Indian's better and cheaper than Harley blah 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 crap, because all their bikes are over 20 grand. Nobody can afford them. It's ridiculous. I just hate that argument, and I'm trying not to hate on Indian, because I do like the Scout. It is a pretty awesome bike. Everything I heard from it is positive, but guess what? The lean angle on that thing sucks worse than any other bike I've seen, really. And I've watched 2 guys that have Scouts. One's got a regular Scout, and one's got a Scout Bobber, and he'd tell you this, but the lean angle on that thing is terrible. It's complete garbage. Just I don't know if you guys have thought about that or not, especially the pricing of Indians. Like, it's not as good as everybody wants to think that it is. Alright, I'm back to finish this video. I got here to work and I just didn't feel like it was over. I didn't feel like it was finished. Well, we're gonna finish it right here real quick. Let's do another cold start on this bike. Stick the keys in. Look, I'm touching the exhaust. Not warmed up. Starts right up. Anyways, so just to close this video up, while I was in work, I wanted to double check my information that I was giving out when I was talking about little differences between Harley and Indian, and I'll let it warm up a little bit. So I was talking about how people want to talk about how Harleys are so expensive and Indians cheaper, better bike or whatever. And so just to double check my information I said earlier, I was looking, this is directly from their websites. This is not from a dealer site. It doesn't have any dealer fees or anything like that factored into the costs or anything like that. But I went on Indian's website, and they have 5 bikes that are under $20,000. 5, and only one of those bikes are under $10,000. So you have the Scout 60, which is $8,900. So I don't know, after dealer fees and all that, you probably would not walk out of there for under 10 grand. Then you have the Scout and the Scout Bobber, which are both $11,900. Then you have the Dark Horse, which is $17,900, I think. And then you have one of their tour bikes, and I don't know what it's called, and it is $19,900. So I mean, it's listed for under 20, so that's why I mention it as the 5, but there's no way you get it for under 20. There's just no way. And then you go to Harley's website. They have 19 bikes under 20K. I know that's hard to believe, but this is numbers right from their website. They have 19 bikes for under 20K. The most expensive of those 19 being the Breakout, I think was the one, and it was like $19,800 or something like that. So yes, that's another bike that chances are, with all your dealer fees and all that, you're not going to get out for under 20, but it's listed on their website for under 20. Now they have 3 of the Streets and 2 of the Sportsters. That's 5 bikes for under 10K. And then you have the Then you have like 3 more to that, or 4 more to that. I think it's 3. Yeah, I gotta add 3 more to that are under 15. See what I'm saying? Like 19 bikes, where Indian only has 5, with an asterisk beside it, because chances are that one's not gonna, you're not gonna get that one out the door for under 20. It's just, I just don't, there's no way. Unless they marked it way down or something, I don't know. Anyways, that's what I wanted. Also, we're always talking about the dark days of Harley, and people seem to think that those days are still here as far as the reliability and the oil and stuff like that. Let's not forget, Indian hasn't had a stellar history either, and they've only been I think they've only been owned by Polaris for only a couple of years. Before that, they wasn't even making them at all for a little while, I'm pretty sure. And it's changed hands so many times. So many different companies has owned in the name Indian. It's just changed hands so many times that it's not even nowhere near what it used to be. which I wouldn't want it to be, because even those original ones aren't gonna be, you know, I mean, they're just old. So I don't know. I just wanted to wrap the video up with that, to give you some do some research for you to close out this video, and give you some real numbers and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna cut the video here. If you liked the video, hit that like button. If you didn't, hit that dislike button. If you got a comment, leave me a comment. I love a debate. I love to debate. So if you got something to add to the conversation, or you want to correct me on something, let me know about it. Leave a comment. Let me know about it. I love to hear people's opinions and stuff like that. I mean, as long as you ain't being a complete jerk, like, I want to hear what you got to say. So, and I appreciate opinions and stuff like that too. So anyways, I'll catch you on the next video. This is Woody. Peace, and I'm out.